Hey, this is Coach Josh, and today I want to show you something really very simple on the key of B flat major. So please stay with me, okay? So we go 6. Our God is greater, our God is stronger. Lord, you are higher than any other. So it goes from the 6 to the 4 and the 1 and the 5, right? But there's something you can actually do, which is our God is greater, our God is stronger, right? All right, so let me break that down for you. So the first thing I did was to go to the 6. And you want to practice this, especially without the sustain pedal. You play it over your 6. Okay, just roll it from the top. Do it till it's clean. Then you can now apply the sustain pedal. Right? And that's the 6. Our God is greater. Okay, then we go to the 4. Our God is stronger. Okay, so if you look at this, you can see that I'm doing A, G in between, and it takes us to our 4 chord. So that's the E flat add 9 chord. Our God is stronger. Then we go to the 1. Lord, you are higher. So I still roll from the top. I need you to practice this so that it will be clean. If not, you're going to be playing. You're going to be having glitches. So, Lord, you are higher than. So, I also added that. Needs to be clean. So, fingering is very important for all these ideas I'm sharing with you. And you need to be very neat. So, if you watch, I use my pointer on the left hand to hit that B flat every time across the octaves as I'm progressing, while the right hand is doing C, D, F, C, D, F, C, D, F, right? So we're using thumb, pointer, and the ring finger on the right hand to play that. So you want to practice it without the pedal. Get that neatness before you proceed to using your pedal. If not, you're not gonna get the sound, right? It's gonna be all glitches. All right, so now the next thing you want to do is to go to the 5. Okay, so Lord, you are higher than any other, right? So so that is the 5. And if you can do a stretch, I know some of you will be like, oh, Coach Josh, you want us to stretch up to the 10th? That's a 10th stretch, okay? So, but if you can do that, you can do the power chord. That's the F power chord right there. And the right hand is playing the F sus2 chord, right? So you just put a C at the bottom there just to make it a little bit rich and full, okay? So, and that's something you can do. You know, sometimes I even prefer doing something like that. So if you have the mind for that, I mean, you can do that as well. So yeah, then the next thing I did was, so that's a passive movement to the 6th chord. Okay, and those are all diminished 7th chords, okay, coming from the G flat diminished 7th chord. However, I started with this, the E flat diminished 7th chord, and I played an inversion, a step down, okay, of it, and that is the C diminished 7th chord. Then the next inversion downward, that is an A diminished 7th chord. Then finally I landed on the G flat diminished 7th chord, and it took us to the 6. which is the G minor chord, right? And someone might be asking, oh, so how do we like understand, or how do we know which diminished seventh chord to apply as passing chords whenever we're playing a song or something like that? Right, that's a good question. So the first thing you want to understand is this idea. For instance, in this case scenario, this idea is coming from the leading tone going to the G, right? Let's assume in the key of G major, for instance. Remember, F sharp is the seventh tone of the scale, right? So, and that's the leading tone, takes us to the G, right? So if you remember, this will be the seventh chord, like the chord on the 7th degree. That's what I mean. Okay, this is going to be the F sharp diminished triad in the key of G major. So I can have my diatonic chords 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that takes us to the 1, right? So to make it much more better, I could even do this. Okay, and this would be more suitable to go into a minor chord. So while we play this and takes us to the 1, which resolves, I can actually do this, and that's, you know, goes even much more better for a minor chord. Okay, and that's a G minor chord in this case. So now I can take this same idea and apply it in the key of B flat, where we are originally. Okay, so I can say, so that's where we're getting this idea from. I mean, if you need to understand the concept behind it, this is your answer. Okay, so yeah, just get the leading tone, and you know your destination is the G, which is the, you know. Anyway, after that, right? And yeah, I forgot to tell you this. So it's the grace in there. Okay, you need to get that detail in there. All right. Then what next did I play? I think I did. Ooh, so that's a passing chord. You know, we play the 6. So that takes us to the 4 chord. So what is that? The first thing right there, I am using the 5 as the root, but in this case, we're playing it as the F minor 7th chord. And please pay attention to this detail. So that melody right there. Then we play this, and this is the A flat major 13th chord. So the right hand is playing E flat major triad, while the left hand is playing the F minor triad. Okay, or you can just see it as the A6, but I prefer to call it the, you know, the F minor triad. So we go down. Yeah. Ooh, I almost missed it. I didn't want to play something else, so that's why I was trying hard not to miss it. So now this is the next one, and the left hand is playing E, B, and D, while the right hand is playing the D major triad. Okay, in the second inversion. Then we did. So these are all major chords. So this is an this is an A major chord going to the B flat major chord. Okay, but that resolves to the 4. Right? So that's the E flat major 9 chord. Oh God. So we go to the 1. Oh God. I did something like, I can teach you everything, actually. I can teach you everything. So, but just, you know, go with the flow and you'll be good. Thank you, and God bless you.